Number 1. A few months ago I downloaded a program for my phone. Sleep is Android. I bought the premium version of the app for the extra features to record sound throughout the night when volume reached a certain threshold. It would activate when I would snore or move around. I would usually spend the next evening going over some of the recorded sounds. Everything was pretty normal until I listened to something out of the ordinary. It was near the beginning of April, and I had the apartment to myself. I'll let you listen to the sound before I go on explaining it. It started out picking up my snoring, and then the hairs on the back of my neck stood up as I heard my doorknob moving. Following this, you can hear my door open slowly. I was confused a little, and very worried. Everything was still locked up. Nobody came home, the chain lock was still latched on the front door, and my landlord certainly didn't come. I don't use the app anymore. Number 2. This happened to me when I was about 8, and it still scares me to this day. One evening I went to let my dogs in from the backyard, around 9. It was pitch black, so I quickly opened the door and my dogs came bounding in. As soon as they came in, I locked the door, and at this moment a person on the other side pulled the handle down trying to get into my house. We had a glass door, so even in the dark I could see the outline of a man standing there. I ran to my dad, and he ran into the back garden after this man and saw him running down the road. Since then, I have closed and locked doors at the speed of light. Number 3. I'm a journalist and was told this doozy by a woman I interviewed today. When this woman was a young girl, say about 8 years old, she started to come downstairs at night to tell her father there was a man in her closet. He tells her there's no such thing as the boogeyman and sends her back to bed. This happens on and off for like a week. Finally, he gets frustrated and walks her back to her room and says, "I'll show you there's nothing in your closet." He goes to open the door. It opens an inch, and then he feels someone slam it shut. Turns out there really was a man in her closet. This guy was a perv who'd come in the house every night and stare at the girl from her closet while she slept. The dad kicked the shit out of him, and the perv went to prison for many years. I researched her story 20 years after this happened. The guy had just gotten out of jail again, and no one could find him. Number 4. I lived on 13 acres. Most of it was forest. I was 8, hardly ever home alone, but when I was, this kind of thing would happen all the time. Only when I was home alone, though. The doors would open while they were locked. My young dogs would run up to the door and stay 10 feet away barking at something I couldn't see, while I hid behind the bar clutching a knife. At the same home, my younger sister and I would play in the woods with just our dogs. At 5 and 7 years old, we had an imaginary friend that we could both see and both talk to. We could also hear what they were saying. Our dogs would follow it when it would walk away and run around it in circles as it moved. I revisited that same house 8 years later and saw a figure moving along the edge of the woods. It looked the same size as our friend. When I told my sister, she told me she saw it too, but no one else did. I didn't realize until I was older that there was no way we both should have been able to hear it, or the dog should have been able to see it. Number 5. Driving to pick up a friend who was at this cabin party about 40 miles west of where I lived. It was close to 2 a.m., so I'm driving down this back road to find this random cabin out of nowhere, and I come across the red 4-door sedan with all 4 doors open and 4 limp figures in the seats with their heads slumped over. That alone kind of freaked me the fuck out. Later on, I'm driving by again after a failed attempt at picking up my friend. Mind you, it's getting close to 3 in the morning, and only the front seat passenger door was open, and every person in the car was staring with a blank dead stare directly at me as I drove past at 10 miles per hour. Very creepy to me. Number 6. To really get my story, you have to have an understanding of my 3rd floor landing. There's a single set of stairs that lead up to it. Once on the landing, it's a T-shape, with an office on the left, my bedroom on the right, and straight ahead is the bathroom with a shower. Anyway, one night, 10 p.m., I'm taking a shower before I head to sleep. The glass panels on my shower is like a concave convex glass that blurs everything. So everything was blurred and unclear. I glance at the door and I see some kind of hand-like figure. Now, it was pitch black, so right there it freaked me out because I come from a family of pale white Welsh people. What freaked me out more was how the hand seemed to come through the door, or at least an angle where whomever the hand belonged to wouldn't be visible. All it did was hit the lights. That's it. No noise, no attack or anything. It just turned off my fucking lights. So there I am. I just witnessed a phantom hand. And now I'm in my shower and it's pitch fucking black. I've never been so chilled to the bone before. Something about being in the darkness of the night, with the only noise being the water hitting the floor beneath me, just reduced me to the most primal state of fear I've ever been in. I eventually got myself to leave the shower and hit the lights. The relief that came over me was immense. I've never been able to explain it. The stairs up to the landing are old and creak like hell. I would have heard someone go up and down. No one was in my room, or the office. Weirder still, nothing like this has happened since. Hey guys, before I let you go, I want to do a quick shout out to a friend of mine named The Great Amadeus. They recently drew my profile picture, and dude, it's fucking amazing. I love it so much. And I'll be leaving a link to their channel in the description. Anyways, you guys have a nice day. Peace.